What's up guys, Hades here. As you've probably seen from the thumbnail, I am trying my very hardest to make two mains, right? Two mains, quote unquote mains, right? What I mean by a main is two marches that have a legitimate chance of beating the meta marches, right? Meta marches being everything you've seen in the past: Earth Himikos, Fires, some sort of Chaos variants, Loki teams, Wukong teams, whatever it might be, having two teams that actually deal damage. So this is my first attempt. I'm gonna make this into more of a series type thing where I'm adjusting and growing it and changing skills and giving updates, because I think it's really interesting trying to make two teams at this point in the game. Now I want to explain what I'm doing with my marches. So this is a little experimental. I don't recommend doing this in an important KVK, but ours is boring. We have no fighting, so I'm gonna experiment. What I did was I made my Baldwin carry, which has been one of my main carries for a while, into a speed team with a bunch of defenses around him. That's the plan. I'm gonna experiment with it. I've been running this almost the same team, but this has been Alex with damage, and I haven't been finding a ton of success, so I'm going to switch in another defense, continue to keep him as a damage dealer, and then have a fire team second. Now, there's some adjustments I'm probably going to make. This Fufei could be a few things. It could be Cyrus, it could be Wu. I'm going to have to experiment with it a little bit, as well as the skills. The skills are undefined, right? We have a very defined Ivy League fire team, but this is not even close. Trajan is a massive upgrade, Buffet is a big upgrade, and I have some legendary skills to play with. Now, keep in mind the power's still low, but that doesn't mean they're weak at all, okay? The artifact for my carry is maxed. The artifact for my carry is maxed. Artifact for my carry is maxed. I want to stress how important max artifacts on the carries are. Now you're going to see some reduced power. Part of that is because I'm using a bronze level 1 Trajan artifact. His artifact doesn't matter. I still get the unique buff. As long as he activates it, I get full effects, right? If I had a better artifact, would he last a little bit longer on the battlefield? Yes, of course. But this is a team that's going to kind of burst you down anyways, so I don't really care if he lasts. I also don't want to focus on putting things to him first, because those don't matter. What matters first is getting golds and fully upgrade on the most important. So now we need to talk about specializations, because this hasn't been possible until very recently. There has not been enough books in the game, the Master's Insight, to even consider making a main, but now there is. So here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a level 6 Baldwin, a level 8 Kin, level 8 YSS, I have a level 8 Hippolyta, level 2 Fufei, level 7 Seondeok, and only level 2 Trajan. Now, I have plenty of Trajan books, but again, we're super limited on the books. Why did I choose Trajan to be the last one? It's because his doesn't matter nearly as much as all the rest. And it's kind of still on the second side. I'm trying to make it more up to par with the other ones, but all I'm getting is damage reduction. I don't really care. If he dies, he dies. As long as he provides some protection and allows Hippolyta to live and get off her combo, then I'm cool with it. Because if I can just deal damage, I'm going to be happy, and his goes last. Now, some of the missing power you can also see is in Trajan, and I also am not 30 yet here. So all the context is now out of the way. I have a speed team as my main, and I have a bit of a burst team as my second. Now, in the future, I am going to try kind of swapping these. Right now I have energy, no escape, energy suppression, Rage Blessing, Weakening Curse. All these things are helping me win the early game, so I can get down in front of firepower, get my first ult quickly because I can attack first with Fighting Master, and then kind of snowball the match from there. I might actually want to switch Fighting Master and No Escape over to this team to let them go first, but I wanted to try this variation first because I think it's very interesting. Another note is I think this could absolutely be Spring of Life due to the massive healing I'm going to get from Soul Synergy, and I'm going to get a lot from Unyielding stuff. So something to think about, but probably not quite necessary. I might even want to just get rid of Soul Synergy and keep this more as is. So let's dive into some reports because I think there's going to be a lot of interesting data here. I've been performing pretty decent. I've only tried it once, but I want to give you some context. Now, sometimes when you win, you get good or bad stats, and sometimes when you lose, you get really good stats. So interesting here is my burst team is doing exactly what I wanted. 54 million in 21 seconds, right? But again, these are not the mains from this player. Again, 50 million, 19 seconds. So you can see it's doing what I wanted. But now it's low, right? My kin who's side assisting is about to die, and my tanks are getting low. But my damage dealer is still full HP, so it's doing what I want. But you can see here, once I come into hitting a serious main that's really up there in power, I believe this one's at almost 800,000. You can see it starts to fall a little flat. I'm actually going to lose out on the DPS here. Even though I heal a lot, oh no, sorry, this is his. So yeah, he heals way more and does 40 mil, and I heal almost nothing and only deal 30. So that's why I lose. And then the fire second, sadly, just doesn't quite get enough. It is a long match, and they do get 60 million, and I'm getting quite a bit of healing out of my Fufei, which is very nice to see. I'm getting Energy Shield, 5 mil, her ultimate, 5 mil, and Soul Synergy, 4 mil. 4 mil from one skill is actually quite high. Going on to another report. This is a player I've battled with. We have a pretty close to 50-50 rate. You can see the same thing happens. Burst team wins very quickly, and then I don't need to worry about a lot of the other teams. There's a burst team here, right? This is basically a hybrid team with a fire dragon, which is debatably more dangerous because the fire dragon does so much, but 50 mil in 30 seconds, right? This is the whole idea. Then you finally get down to the main. I do get a bit of chunk damage, and then you can see here the fire actually does the rest. This is a powerful team. This is a team that I struggle with against those mages. I get 21 from Sion and 28 from Hippolyta, and now I can start to decide, what do I want to do with this team? I'm getting 34 million healing from one hero. Do I want to add Spring of Life or not, right? And well, it's going to depend on a lot of my opponents, and I can adjust this based on opponents that I'm facing. And you can see here, his low artifact doesn't bother him at all in this situation. I actually have resist on this team, and I have Aegis on this team, so I'm actually spreading my magic resist just in case one of them or both of them needs to fight a mage, right? Then I have some other really cool information here. So this is a burst Merlin. This is a really cool team, but because I go first and I burst harder, I win the match, right? And again, Baldwin's kind of a wild card because he's so random with his ultimate. And then again, I can fight through multiple teams because it's a burst team. And I get to the end and there's still an 8-8 Hippolyta carry, and I'm able to win it with this team. Now, this team is no joke. 32 mil and 22 mil in 20 seconds is kind of crazy. I actually want to show you a report of what the fire looks like. It doesn't seem like it would be all that great, but it really makes a lot of sense. Fire has a lot of variability because they're usually crit based. I built a crit based team, but I also put a healer, right? It would make more sense to put something like Cyrus, but actually all this chip damage can sometimes be recovered by the Fufei, and you're gonna see it right there. Bunch of HP recovered, and then boom, they're crit off the map, and then I don't go into the next battle super weak, right? That was the 4th battle in a match, but I don't get out super weak. So as of right now, I have 6 hits, all went pretty good. I did lose against a stronger player. I do lose to this player in my old build anyway, so that's not a surprise. And I'm gonna try and make improvements to these teams. I'm gonna try and make updates and make this more into a series. So I think it's really interesting, the idea between one main march versus 2 marches and kind of spreading some of the best skills. Because I think Energy Mastery is one of the best skills in the game, and I used to have it on Baldwin. But now that I have Psionic Tide, I don't really need to use both on him. Maybe it's better on Syndiok. Or maybe I should put Wu in this position and give this to Wu. That might be another option as well. There's a lot of variations. I'm gonna test this all the time and keep you updated. And if you guys like these kind of videos, make sure you let me know in the comments below, and I will check you guys in the next one.